Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our fifth Thursday in May town hall meeting. This is just a time where we just have some laid back conversation about anything you'd like to talk about. We can't do that at our board meetings because they're set up according to, our Robert's rules and our ordinances and all of that. So we have implemented our fifth Thursday town hall meeting so that if anyone at home or here would like to address, us to try to answer some questions or, hear about what you'd like us to know, then we're happy to have you come up and speak. I've got a list, and I'll go by the list. And if anyone decides that they, like to come up, and you're not on the list, just raise your hand, and we'll do it that way. So we will start with Kathy Tiroli.
Hi, I'm Kathy Tiroli, 7300 Shepton Park. I just have some calendar events. The first is from the Bowie Nature Park on Friday, June 7th at 8:30, shelter number 1. We will start a night hike. On Saturday from 6 to 12 at Veterans Memorial Park, we will have a fishing rodeo, and that is located off of 96 at New Hope Road. You have to look for the street sign. There is not a sign for the park itself. And then also on Saturday,
Ms. Tiroli?
Yes,
Is that this Saturday?
yes. No, June 8th.
Okay.
June 8th, okay.
June 8th, I'm sorry.
Okay, Saturday, June 8th.
June 8th, and the night hike is June 7th.
You don't have to yell, Ms. Trolley.
And what is the time again on the fishing rodeo?
On which one? The fishing rodeo?
6 to
From
12?
6 a.m. to 12.
Ooh,
It's a long day.
are the fish up then? I know I'm not. Do what? Oh, I know, but I mean, I don't know if the fish are up then. I don't know. Maybe they are. Gotta wake them up. Okay. And after the fishing rodeo, what was next?
On Saturday evening, I believe at 8 o'clock, and I'm sorry, I'm not sure of that, at Bowie Nature Park, right above the playground, we are going to have a movie in the park, Car 1. And there will be refreshments put on by the police department, I believe.
And the date on that again? I'm sorry.
June 8th.
Oh,
Saturday
okay. So you're saying the fishing rodeo is that morning, and then the movie is that night at what time?
8 o'clock, I believe.
Okay.
And then on Tuesday mornings at Bowie Nature Park at the Nature Center, the Friends of Bowie's garden crew meets every Tuesday, weather permitting, at 8 o'clock a.m. We would welcome anyone. You do not have to have gardening experience, and you do not have to be a friend of Bowie. Anyone is welcome to come and join us. We usually work about 1 hour on the gardens at the Bowie Nature Center and also in front of the restrooms. We're a nice group. We got plenty of humor. So we welcome anyone to come. And then this coming Wednesday, June 5th, the Park and Landscaping Board of the City of Fairview will meet at 7 o'clock at the Triangle School at the Historical Village. This is not our normal meeting night. We usually meet the first Monday of the month at the Triangle School. And the meeting lasts usually maybe about an hour. And then the last one is the Friends of Bowie will have their monthly meeting on Saturday, June 8th at 9 o'clock at the Nature Center. and we meet the second Saturday of the month.
Okay, that's also on June 8th, and you said 9 a.m.,
Yes,
so it's during the rodeo.
yeah, June 8th, yeah. And then one other question. Is Ace Hardware coming at the Old France property? And is Chick-fil-A coming?
We've approved Ace Hardware, and I hope Chick-fil-A will come.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dig into that. The site plan for Ace Hardware was approved, and they went to Boza for a variance, and it was approved there. So they have every approval they need to get started. Ace
Yes.
Hardware does.
That's exciting. Know that?
I don't know the timeline. It's all owner driven. Yep, sure. The old France site, if you know where that is, on right across Tractor Supply, kind of. Yep.
And the neat thing, it's owned by the Murphys that have, what do they call it? Food Saver. Sorry, Food Saver down there. So that's kind of cool. Okay, next will be Tony Blankenship.
Hello, my name's Tony Blankenship, 7353 Northwest Highway. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to ask a question, and thank you for serving our town. The question is regarding Belhaven. I'm not real clear on how clear I am. You hear me okay? So, you know, we're opposed to Belhaven. Just let that be known. We'd like for it to never happen. But I don't think we can stop it. Since it's coming, we want to be good neighbors, and we'd like to know how they're going to, what the boundary will be like between their property and ours. Because on our property along Northwest Highway, we have an extended driveway that goes all the way to the neighbor's house, and all that wood will now be the backyards of Belhaven. So will there be a boundary of some type? Will there be an earthen berm, fence, row of trees? Do you know the answer to that? Or does somebody know the answer to that?
I'm going to let Brandon speak to that. I was a no vote on Belhaven, so I'm just going to defer that to Brandon.
A lot of no votes. Where were no votes?
I don't have the plan in front of me. I'm trying to look up to see exactly where you live in relation to that for your backyard. 7353.
Go past Whiskey Fire on Northwest Highway. We live in a log home up on the
Okay.
hill.
The gorgeous house. And, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
on
Yep.
And all that driveway will now be Belhaven on the,
I don't have the site plan with me. It's a PUD, so a PUD has a required buffer, perimeter buffer. And I want to say it was 25 feet or so, and then it has vegetation planting requirements. Some of the areas, they had to pull off of the property lines more for stream buffers or topography or wetlands. So without it in front of me, I don't have it. But if you will write down your email or something to me, I'll find it. I'll send you a copy of the plan, try and put it in relation of where you are to give you an idea.
better to address it to you, Mr. Butler, or to Mr. Greer? Because we also have his business card.
Yep, Ethan is the man. He's the one that knows all things. And so I'll send you the plan. A lot of times we'll ask Ethan for questions because he's the guy that's overseeing it all. Belhaven, its current status is on the agenda for our next meeting for a development agreement. And that development agreement is discussions about road improvements. They're making a contribution towards Northwest Highway road improvements. And so once that development agreement is either passed, failed, or agreed upon, that's when they would proceed forward on their development.
Sounds like we don't know exactly today, or Ethan does know.
It will be, the development agreement has to be passed from the Board of Commissioners meeting, which would be the first Thursday, June 6th, I think is the first Thursday, so next Thursday. And I think we got the agenda today, the new submittal was they were going to put $2.75 million towards contributions to the road improvements on Northwest. Because right now, Northwest is slated for, the Fairview bought a piece of property on the corner of 96, you may be aware of. And so where the bridge hits, we're gonna realign that road and turn it to 96, put a turn signal on northwest of 96. And then that entire road is gonna be widened with a 67-foot right-of-way. I think it's 67 foot, so it'll have 3 lanes. It'll have a turn lane in the center and then two travel lanes. So we're gonna do that all the way down through, to where Dice Lampley hits, and then there's Belvoir, I think is the name of that one, is gonna extend through there and kind of realign northwest out of that corner and make it a collector road that's a little bit wider in process. So that's the discussions and the status right now.
For clarification, that'll be a road on the existing right-of-way in front of our house now. You won't be taking additional property
And
from our side?
Your location, I think, is where we acquired that property, so we'll go all on the Fairview side. And then everywhere where Bellhaven owns, it's going into their side, because they're given the right of way. And so I think there was a few properties that maybe they had to give some, but the plan is to try and use the new properties for it all. Yes, sir.
Mayor, can I speak?
Yes.
I have been a no vote many years. It started out as 975 units, you know. I was instrumental, along with the planning commission, to reduce it to 700 and something. Eventually, it's escalated on down to 400 and something, so it's at about 50%, so. Anyway, hopefully we can have a good community there, you know, so at least it's not 1,000 homes going in.
You've been nice enough to give him the microphone. How about making it into a Laurelbrook and making that 250 acres, 55-acre lots?
I don't think you have any opposition. I think when it came back to us, it was, the submittal was, did it meet the underlying plan from 2008 that was approved? And so, you know, I would love to see the large lot estate out there, but.
All right, next is Cheryl Cook.
Hi, everybody. I'm Cheryl Cook. Can y'all hear me? Yes, ma'am. Okay. I just have a couple quick questions about my subdivision that I live in Fernville Heights off of Cumberland, Chester and Cumberland. I just kind of would like to know the rules and regulations of what's acceptable.
Hold on 1 second. Does she need to hold the mic? Oh.
So I was just kind of curious of what the rules and regulations are
Hey,
as
Bree.
far as,
Hold on 1 second. Hey, Bree, could you help her with it? Okay. Is it because if they get too close or something?
Testing, testing. I think it was just too close.
so my question is, I'm just kind of curious of what the rules and regulations are in a subdivision as far as parking your work trucks and vehicles, dump trucks, all that other stuff. So was just kind of what I wanted to know. Seems like a lot of the focus now is on the new construction, and we pay a lot of attention on that stuff. But I feel like the homes that have been there in the subdivisions that started 30 years ago are kind of on the back burner and now looking pretty junky. So I don't know what the rules are. I don't know if you have a printout of what's allowed, what's not allowed. So that's it, really.
I'm gonna get you a new mic.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why that one's acting funny.
So I don't know who can.
Let me say one thing and then yeah.
If you guys have a printout of what you are allowed to do, not allowed to do. I think the sign says when you pull in, nothing over 1 ton, but there's a dump truck that comes and pulls, and it used to park on the street until it made a huge divot, then they fixed the street, and now it parks in their driveway, and their vehicles are all over the grass, so there's a few houses in that subdivision that are looking pretty junky, so I'm just wanted to know.
I'm gonna open the floor to the other guys, but I do want to say one thing. I talked to Ethan after you spoke with me a few days ago, and a good thing is that we're looking to hire, right, Tom, an additional codes inspector, and it will be more of, like property issues, where, like you're talking about, if there are broken down vehicles in the yards, trash. I know that I went and visited all the addresses that you gave me, and I had spoken to Ethan about this as well. I know there's many rules and regulations, and he's gonna print out something for me so that we will, we'll all know together. But I when I went and visited the sites that you gave me the addresses for, it was pretty disturbing. Chris?
Another thing, the new subdivision down here on the right on 100, across from where the new city center is going to go, and they took down all those trees and are going to build homes. Looks like there's going to be an entrance, an exit, whatever, coming onto 100 and also Chester. Is that correct?
Those are two different interests.
They're two different.
One is a
Subdivision, yeah.
townhome project, 130 townhomes.
That's
that-
behind Sonic, right?
That's off of Fairview Boulevard, the one you're talking about across from City Center. And then the other one is like a 41 lot, 1 acre subdivision off of Chester. So those do not connect, but they're two new neighborhoods.
And
Okay,
that's not the one, those are not the Sonic townhomes.
Oh, so a different set of townhomes.
Yeah, the ones you're talking about are on the right side of the road.
Right.
Sonic is over here on the left
Yes,
side.
yeah, Mom lives up there at Maple Village, and there's.
Yes.
Mayor, it sounded
Yeah,
like
go
you were involved in some conversations earlier based on what she was saying. Do you mind sharing like specifics as like examples of what is taking place?
Well, what's happening is there's some people who have like a house trailer in their yard and they're living in it, in somebody's front yard, which I don't think that's
Like on
allowed.
their personal property, they're allowing someone to live in like a mobile home or
Yes.
something on their property?
Yes. And then this other home, the guy actually has a dump truck, a boom truck, I guess I'm saying it right, with, a cherry picker on it, and it's almost like his whole construction. He used to park some of his vehicles at the Shell on Chester, but now I guess maybe they asked him to move them. They're all on his property at his home.
So I misunderstood you. So it's not related to construction equipment from the developments?
No,
I
no,
was
no,
like, wait,
no.
we've got
These
construction
are-
equipment on other people's property?
No, no,
What are
no.
we talking
These
about?
are
Okay.
these are people who have a construction business in a neighborhood that are parking all their construction vehicles. And yeah, anyway, so they park them, and instead of you being able to go down your subdivision and back up your subdivision, they're parked to where this person has to wait for this person to go around until they can go, because they're the big, that boom truck and the dump truck. And also the dump truck is damaging our city streets. And also there's a sign that says a certain amount of weight only. And I can tell you the dump trucks are heavier than that weight. So I have Ms. Cook's pictures and what I've seen, I took all to Ethan, and he's looking up all of the code-related issues with it. But it's going to be exciting because I know Ethan and our crew, they've got a lot on their plate. But when we get our new codes guy in, he's going to be more of going through our city and violations being handled. So that's going to be a good good for Fairview. Was there?
Yes, thanks for clearing that up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Where is that? Fernville Heights, is that what you said? From, I had an opportunity to see Ethan today, and he asked me, what do you know about on-street parking? We had a conversation about it. He had been reading the ordinances, and he mentioned something about, there was some language that he thought maybe talked about preventing overnight parking on streets. And so he's digging into it, and like the mayor said, we have, our toughest thing is enforcement and having employees to act on things. And so if we do have ordinances in place that can help clean that up, we'll have some people hopefully here soon to help enforce it and take care of it.
Justin Miller.
Buddy, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good deal. Thank you for letting us come and talk. Cox Run, as you know. It's like a Sea World over there. So I just wanted to ask a couple questions. First of all, are you guys aware that we're experiencing runoff issues?
I was there yesterday.
Construction? Okay,
Yes.
so you are aware of that. Okay. As it relates to our house, we're at the very bottom. We've spent $40,000 in repairs from flooding. And last time we went around with this, we requested some help, and we didn't get any. Now, Mayor, congratulations on your spot. And it seems like that you're very attentive, and I thank you for that. The fact that you were in our neighborhood, that means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
We didn't get that last time. So for my family and I, since we're noticing more water and mud and debris, the easement goes through our backyard. And so a question that we've got is whose responsibility is it? And we just want to know so that we can further fix our problem that we've got, because it's not all fixed yet. That money we've already spent is just repairs to the house, and we still need to address the flooding, because it's still a threat right now. And so I brought the plat, and I was wondering if, and I've got my contact information on it. I was wondering if someone could reach out and let us know if it's the city's or if it's ours. If it's ours, that's fine. We just need to move forward so we can try to avoid more flooding. That's all.
Mr. Miller? Mr. Miller?
Yes, sir.
Has it increased since the construction started over here?
Yes, it has. And I mean, you know, anytime it rains for us, I mean, we don't sleep. We watch out the window, you know? I mean, we used to have a living area down there, but of course we had to rip all that out. But, I mean, we're a normal house. We keep stuff down there. We have nowhere else to keep that stuff. So whenever it's raining like it does, you're wondering if you're going to have to go down there and move everything upstairs, out of the basement, and what order and all that, you know, just like a little help.
I feel for you.
But thank you very much for being attentive, and I look forward to speaking with someone this time. Thank you.
I was in your subdivision yesterday, and I was at Miss Ebarb's house, and she's at the very end. I went in her home to her second floor so that I could see how the excavation was done. One thing I am going to say, because I know what y'all been through, I've listened to what you've gone through for a while now. My hopes are that when the development there, I guess, is it called Bowie Meadows now? Okay. When they get their storm drains in and all their excavation done, my hopes from what I saw is that it will help your situation, because as the runoff comes that way, it will hit the storm drains before it can ever continue on down the road to where you are. Because right now, it just, flows your direction. That's what I'm hoping will happen. Now, in the meantime, we need to do what we need to do to make sure that any development that's going on right now does not affect their neighbors. whether it be make sure the silt fences are not damaged or holes in them because of the storms that we've had lately, which, as we know, are more than any May I've seen in a long time. I don't know, what are the black, tubing? It looks like a big snake.
Field soccer.
Yeah, silt soccer, okay. I know that they've put some mulch down and they've done that, but, truth of the matter is, when those storm drains go in, that water that's coming down through there will hit the storm drains. Brandon, since you're involved in development and stuff, can you, because I don't know how that works. I just know after it's done, it's gonna be a better solution, but I don't know how the process is.
Hey, sometimes town halls are tough because the smart people who oversee this, our engineers and our planners aren't here to help guide. But any disturbance that they make that's gonna have water runoff will have to be captured in the pond, and that's what they're working on right now, are ponds. We rode the perimeter trail at the park today. I went through Cox Run today. Miss Harrell had sent me some videos of her house having some runoff. They are working right now diligently to try and get ponds built. They still don't have ponds built, and so nothing is as designed. And so right now, the reason you put up silt fence and all these things is because water is probably going to leave the site, unfortunately. When it's built as designed, it's going to capture it. Our stormwater ordinance took some huge hurdles when we passed it a few years ago. Like, one of the things is the first inch of rain has to be captured in the ponds, and so that's trying to capture any silt, any chemicals that may have run off from a driveway or things like that. It has to sit in the bottom of that pond before it can be released, and then it has to discharge at the same calculation flow rate that they calculated early on. And so, like the mayor said, when this is done, I still think that it's going to be better for you guys than it was prior, because that first inch is going to be captured, then the flow rate's going to change. When they built Cox Run, things were a lot different. There was no TDEC oversight. There was no governmental oversight. There's no stream buffers. There was no requirements for ponds, detention ponds, and things. And so they used to do stuff like this all the time, where you would have an easement, a drainage easement that ran through somebody's house that shouldn't be there. They would put retention ponds on private property, and then that private property owner is responsible for that pond because it's on their property. And so it's, we've come a long way from where they were to now. I know that doesn't help your situation and scenario. I dug in with previous administration pretty heavy when you guys came and spoke last time about what we could do on your property in particular. Can we try and capture a pond somewhere? Can we try and hold some water to create some things? And he kind of came back the same thing, because it's just an easement, it's on your property, it's not the city's infrastructure. We think we can dig now, and we have new staff, new engineers. I think we can dig into it and ask the questions again, try and dig in and see. We have a new city attorney who does Spring Hill, so he's probably seen a lot of different things that we could ask. And so I think it's worth asking the question again, but it's,
We just want to make sure we're doing the right thing. We don't want to get a backhoe in there and, dig water with our neighbor. He's got a huge underground drain.
to it. No. And no, I think Curtis Broadbent, our engineer, Will Owen, our engineer, and then Ethan as our city planner will be huge tools or assets. Because of the new rules today, it's hard to go and disturb a culvert. Is it size right? Is what you put in right? Can you disturb a stream area? And so there's so much new rules when you touch something like that now. Those guys, I think, can be beneficial to help you get some answers.
And let me ask the question again. So, do they do the infrastructure, even though they're doing it in phases? Do they do the whole infrastructure at one time, or do they do the you know, the storm drains and everything, in the phase, piece by piece.
Anywhere that there's water retention or collection has to be built. I think that they're gonna probably build over towards Wayne's Lane, because the step system's over there, maybe a temporary road. I'm not sure exactly how that's working out right now, but any disturbance, that water will have to be captured and captured and then redistributed at the same distribution rate or better that was calculated prior. And so that's what they're just, this weekend, they pumped some more water. They pumped, a couple weeks ago, we got a video. They were pumping water. Their ponds are half built, and then it rains a ton, and they have to finish those ponds, and they can't get in there because it's just a pond of water. And so that one day they started pumping water through a silt sock, through some riprap, and it came through Bowie Park. That's the washout we saw. And then this weekend they pumped some. They took it to the high ground, tried to pump it through their 50 acres of pastures and forest, and it went into Hickman Branch and into Little Turnbull, and you could see it the water was a mile and a half down. It was dirty, a mile and a half downstream. And so the Ethan Greer today told me they put a notice of stop pumping on him. So we're like, hey, you guys cannot pump anymore. This isn't working every time you do it. Quit distributing that water at this higher stream, because when they pump, they're pushing water out faster than it's supposed to be. When those ponds are built, it'll leave at 2 gallons a minute or whatever the calculation is, where right now the pump's probably got 5 gallons flow just constantly running. Where is it going? We walked out there today on the perimeter trail. They had a water truck, and they were pumping water out of the ponds into a water truck.
That's what I was gonna ask. So they can pump it into like, some type of a truck
holding,
with a container
yeah.
that will hold it, and they can take it off the site, right?
And so the two big failures that we've seen out there so far are them pumping water out of ponds to try and get ponds done so they can start collecting water and distributing properly. The heavy rains this weekend, Miss Harold's videos, where I think we're sheet flow water, where we've just had so much rain that the ground was saturated and it was natural flow, but it's discolored because it's leaving that dirt site. It's going through, they have silt fence up. They did the perimeter of their silt fence with mulch. They've got a big old roll of mulch on most of the perimeter of the silt fence now, so it's kind of an extra filtration system as it goes through to try and be preventative and proactive. But right now, it's kind of a race to get your ponds done, and then they can start stabilizing some sites, try and get some grass growing, and the ponds will start working like they're supposed to. With that.
Anytime it rains now, we always got water from that property. Significant rain, we got flooding problems. Now, we're getting even more water faster, so it doesn't take a huge rain event to cause multiple amounts of water coming down. Now, just any rain more than 30 minutes. And it's
Good.
came to our door, but it's silty, muddy, leaves, mud and dirt behind. You can see it on the sides of the streets when it runs down.
Going to. And that's what you hope that it's leaving the site stained water, so it's brown water, but it doesn't have silt or dirt in it because of the stormwater measures in place. Sometimes you're going to see some leak, but that's the goal of the storm. That's why you have those stormwater practices up. But we've had so much rain too. I have some property in West Tennessee that's in a flood zone. The water's higher right now than it usually is this time. It's much higher than Summer Pool, and so the waters are up a little bit right now. But it's a terrible time to be having all that site completely undisturbed with mud and dirt. And so I think they're trying to race to get those ponds done so they can start stabilizing some things. And there was a TDEC inspection May 20th. I don't know if you guys have seen that. You've got it. They came out May 20th. I think somebody asked after they dumped all the water, the video from Bowie Park, somebody came out. And so they had stormwater not receiving adequate treatment prior to discharge from the site due to failure to install required sediment basins. Additionally, no paperwork was posted on site, and it's unclear whether inspections, site assessments, or the additional requirements triggered by 50 acres disturbance are being performed as required. There was some sediment deposits in the waters of the state, which means there was some sediment in some of the creeks or streams, and some of the sediment basins were still not installed or completed. There's no violations on that report, but so there's a SWIP, Stormwater Prevention Protection Plan, that sits, it's not on the site according to this inspection. They're supposed to weekly inspect it. After rain, you're supposed to inspect it within like 48 hours. And I'm trying my best to explain. At one point, I was level 1 certified for stormwater. So it's past that life. I don't miss it. But so they're inspecting it. When the state comes out, they notice these failures. They have 24, 48 hours to fix those failures, and then the SWIP should capture what's been repaired, what the actions were taken. And so when TDEC comes back out, they can see what's been done since and how and what. So
And the SWIP form is out there on site?
it wasn't on May 20th.
Okay, but they've probably been asked to correct that, right?
I would like to take you back to a little bit of a history. Several years ago, the apartments over on 96, right before you get to the church, I forget the name of the church, but anyway, the subdivision behind there, we had two 5-inch rain events in that stretch before they could get the detention ponds fixed. We left this board several years ago, went to the families that were getting the water like y'all are getting. It actually went from 6 inches to over a foot before we could leave there. It was coming in so fast into this families and like moving all their stuff around. It finally got fixed before the next 5-inch rain come. But when 5 inches of rain hits that quick in this area, we didn't have the detention to handle it all. Unfortunately, when Cox Run was built, there wasn't any regulations basically at that time, and I do feel for you. And but we'll, as a board, we'll do anything we can to help you out. And you know, I was in the water damage business for 50 years, so I know what you're going through. Anyway, if I can help, feel free to give me a call. Sorry that it's happening to you.
Mr. Miller, is that everything? Okay. Well, I mean, we'll stay in touch. Eileen Brogan?
Eileen Brogan, 7106 Brush Creek Road South. Thanks for listening. I just have some questions about the Brush Creek Road development. I should have paid attention when it was in planning, but I didn't. I was just wondering if somebody can tell me the number of acres, number of houses. Is there going to be a step system? Is there going to be an entrance on Highway 100? Is there going to be a light on Highway 100 at Brush Creek after this is all done and we get all those houses?
Well, I just took a tour with Camp Marymount because they were, you know, having some issues with some
Not
runoff.
surprised.
And it is conventional sewer, less than 40 homes. There is a huge buffer between Brush Creek subdivision and Camp Marymount.
Huge, like how much?
I mean, when we were out there, it's at least 300 feet, fully wooded, that's not going to be disturbed. But that's the Marymount side. But it is conventional sewer, less than 40 homes.
And do you know how many acres?
37 acres, just looked it up.
37, okay.
It's got an access point off of Fairlawn, like when you come on from Brush Creek, that first right, and then has an access point in the turn a little farther down, probably where the machines and stuff are sitting right now.
Right.
That was a piece of property that was zoned R15 from the original development that was over there, part of that Fairlawn Estates or whatever it's called down there. So this is kind of like a section 2 that's coming together 20, 30 years later.
So does it have an entrance on Highway 100?
It does not.
Or is it just?
Yep, from Brush Creek.
So is Brush Creek going to get a light by any chance?
I don't think there was any offsite improvements like that. I don't think that I think it was 36 or 37 homes. I don't think it warranted a traffic turn signal.
Well, I mean, it's already hard to get out of Brush Creek sometimes, especially if you turn left in the morning. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we have 20 minutes still. Does anybody have anything else that they'd like to just talk about? Hey, we've got a great 3rd of July event planned. I'm excited about that. We've got 3 great bands, one local, Colby Oakley, who we've had before, and we've got so many people wanting to sponsor this event that it's not going to cost the taxpayers a dime. So that's so exciting to have a big event like this. Last year we had close to 20,000 people. I expect that maybe more. So there's a lot of vendors and just exciting things planned for our community with the music and the fireworks. Our fireworks show, I would put it up against anybody's, except for Nashville, but I've been to that one and I'd rather stay in Fairview. But it's going to be a really exciting event, so I hope that everyone can come out. I think it's, a Wednesday or July 3rd. It is. It's on a Wednesday. I believe it starts at 2, right, Tom? Yeah. So lots of food vendors, face painting. The bands are, we've got Rubik's Groove back, and they're so fun, and they're going to be on at night so they can do their light show. So that's going to be really exciting. And the fireworks are at 9:30. So that's going to be fun. And yes. You know what? I can't say enough about Richard. He, Richard Ross, our community services officer, or what is his title? I know. Anyway, he public information officer. Okay. The community public information's relation. Yeah. Anyway, he's doing such a great job. All these events, whether it be Nature Fest or with all the help of the team at the park, Brian, Zena, and Keith, and all the friends of the park. Our Nature Fest is going to be huge as well. But this 3rd of July, I can't say enough about how hard he works for each one of these events for our community, whether it be Christmas, out here with everything we put on out here, and then also 3rd of July and Nature Fest. Those are really big events. We just had the Arts and Craft Fair that was wonderful that, turned out, 70 vendors. So it was really a big success. And then when we were out there at Halloween and gave out candy and then did the movie in the park after, we had kids lined up all the way around the perimeter of, the upper part of the park where they used to have the horse shows. So in all their costumes, and it was a lot of fun. So the events for our community are just, they're just getting more and more, and it's just really exciting. So, but does anybody from the board have anything they'd like to?
I just wanted to add one. I know sometimes you guys have all been dealing with flooding in that neighborhood over there for years, and I can't imagine how frustrating it is, especially when you're asking for help. And I don't think there's anyone up here that wouldn't do anything we could to help you. It's just a matter of finding a solution that is reasonable for both parties. But I feel for you. We did take a tour today with Ethan just to get eyes on some of the troubled areas. So, and I live in Western Woods, which is just on the other side of you all, where my wife and family and I walk that back way around to you guys and down there to see that stuff. And we see where it happens and what's happening, and it is not overlooked or ignored. It may feel like it sometimes, and unfortunately, but I just want you to know that we do care. We are looking into it, and we do take it into consideration when those things are brought up.
Yes.
Our new employees at Bowie Nature Park, Brianna and Tina, what they have put together for the community with all the programs. It's a long time coming over those 2 years with COVID, but they've really jumped right in and coming up with some great programs
They have been doing a great job. And, you know, I remember back in the day when we had camp out there and all the different, you know, opportunities for the kids, and it was so exciting, and they loved being out there and seeing the reptiles and the, you know, center and everything, and, you know, walking the trails and stuff. So to be able to put that back in play, and, you know, the kids and the schools be able to come and enjoy the nature park, and I just appreciate everything that they're doing. And also, I would like to add, I try to share everything that's posted, whether it be from the friends or anything. If y'all can make it shareable, some of the posts just say send, but if you can make it shareable, then we can share it throughout all of our Facebooks. There's several with. When something is posted, whether it's friends or Fairview, I'll see it, and I'll go on Facebook. I'll try to share it, but it just says send. I've talked to Richard about this too. Yeah, and if it says share, it can be shared, but if it just says send, then it's hard to. Yeah. So I talked to Richard about the city part, and all I'm doing is just putting it out there, because I like when anything comes out about events that are happening, I like to share it to my page, because, you know, it just getting it out there as much as we can lets everybody know what's going on. So, but sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, Tom, aren't the informational signs a part of what was? Let Tom knows about this. We'll defer to him.
I believe I have to double check, but I was under the impression there was a limit to age 12 on the playground.
That's what the equipment is designed for.
Yeah.
That's not who just plays on the playground.
I realize that.
Yeah, but there's nothing there saying that that's not okay.
Okay. Yeah, we are, I have given the green light for the entrance. I know there's a lot of signage going on as far as anybody that, I believe there's a lot of recognition in a lot of the signage. I'm not sure that the signage I'm thinking about is what you're wanting inside the entrance. I think probably we need to put some signs up. I will talk to Keith as far as age limit. The problem we run into, it's kind of like a enter at your own risk type facility. It's not something we're going to go out there and monitor 24/7. So it's yeah, we want people 12 years and under to enjoy it, and even adults, but we don't expect adults to go zipping down a zip line and tear up the equipment for the other folks.
But yeah,
Yeah. So it's
I feel like there's a weight limit more than an age limit, although I get the playground is designed for 12-year-olds, but, you know, we're all kids at heart.
yeah. I mean,
Get it?
yeah. I mean,
There's an adult child swing, so adults are allowed on at least that.
yeah. So yeah, I'll ask Keith about the signage. Keith Paisley is the parks director. He would be the person that is in charge of any of the signage that goes up. But I'll follow up with him and see what needs to be done. I know there's been a lot of other recommendations for some other signage as far as trail direction and in case people get lost on the trails and such. So we are working on getting some of those things done. But hopefully we will, as far as getting the park completed and get that signage, I'm hoping within the next month or two at the latest. And hopefully, as far as any other signage, email Keith on what any recommendations. But I know we want at least to have quite a bit of safety signage put up, and maybe age limits. But then again, enforcing that is almost impossible.
I don't know. I get it. If we build it, they can break it. And I understand that. Nobody's going to police it. Nobody expects anybody to police it. But at least, an adult could point to a sign and say, well, you can't be on there. I mean, you're not supposed to be on there.
Right.
That equipment is not meant for you.
Oh, I agree. Hopefully their parents will be there, they can do that as well. I agree.
I think Keith knows about the signs. You guys presented them. Eileen, in my head, I'm watching you show them on papers. I think you showed maybe on Zoom, and then somebody presented when we approved the sign. So we'll check with Keith. Tom, do you know a time frame on the entrance monument sign?
We've got the green light to construct at any time. I don't know the exact timeline, but Keith has been given the green light to go ahead, and I'm ready to write the checks at any time.
We have a contractor in place.
Yes.
Awesome.
They're probably waiting on weather to kind of calm down to get started. I did want to say one other thing. Graduation last Friday night was just really incredible. Our young people, our seniors, they got over $4 million in scholarships. And, I mean, that was incredible. We had several going off to the military. Weston Pape actually going to the Navy. He couldn't even be at his own graduation because he had to report to basic before graduation started. And just all the awards and our capstone scholars. I mean, I got to talk with the valedictorian after graduation. His name's Jordan, and I will butcher his last name. It's Slinnog or something like that. Anyway, I probably didn't say it right, but he is such a bright young man, and it was just really exciting. But I've asked him to, his valedictorian speech was not something I expected. It was turning away from hate and towards love for everyone. And I've asked him to come and do his valedictorian speech in June. So I'm excited for him to come and do that for everyone because it needs to be heard. It was really, he's a really sharp young man, and it was just my pleasure to be able to get to know him. But I'm going to have him up here, and if anybody has and anyone at home that's watching this, I would like academics, sports. We had a lot of like our runners. They got a state championship. There's all kinds of things that are going on, and we'd love to, under awards and recognition, recognize these young people for their accomplishments. So I'm going to reach out to the school, but if anyone at home or here knows of any accomplishments, we want to recognize those because we want this to be more than just a vote. We want, it to be community. So, I just hope everybody can help me. I'm going to reach out to the school, but I know that Jordan's excited. He told me he was really excited to come and do his speech for us, and that's something worth hearing. So, anyway.
Mayor, I have a couple of things when you get a chance.
Sure.
Mr. Rowley mentioned the Veterans Park a while ago. I have asked for a sign out on 96, directional sign down to the Veterans Park. By the way, I want to thank Publix for all the work they did at both parks. They didn't know about Veterans Park when I went by there to meet with those people. And they were real pleased with that park, and it does look great now that the paving's been done. But our park system is coming together, and it's going to be amazing in the future. It really is. Mayor, I have one question for you. You may can give me an update on it. I would like an update on the urban growth plan.
Right now, we're waiting. It came in with some issues. We were planning on voting, as you know, this last meeting. We were planning on voting. Basically, the urban growth boundary, what it is, there's an 18-member board, which includes all of the mayors of all the cities in Williamson County and also Williamson County proper. We have a task which, you know, like in Fairview, we're in the upper west corner. We don't touch any other cities. We just touch Williamson County. So we're not arguing with anybody over land. If we want to expand our boundary or cut it back or carve it out, we can do that. And our community has an opportunity to come speak and let us know how they feel about it. We've not had anything negative as far as ours. Now, when you've got Spring Hill and Thompson Station, that's a different story. So what's happening is they've tasked us with having to vote to tell Thompson Station and Spring Hill what to do. And that's really hard, you know, when we don't really have a dog in the hunt in what's going on in their communities. So we just, you know, I have to vote the way I would vote for our community. I'm a big proponent of landowner rights. I feel like if someone does not want to be in the urban growth boundary, they should be carved out. And I have stood on that principle the whole way through. There's only 3 of us of the 18 who have stood together. It's the mayor of Brentwood, one of the commissioners in Spring Hill, and myself. And we are the 3 of us, even though we're just a vote of 3, and there's 15 other people. I can only vote the way I would vote for my community. But with that being said, it's pretty much they want everybody to agree, and it is a majority vote though. So when the documents came to us for us to vote last board meeting, there were some issues with them. So it's back with Mayor Rogers Anderson and their team to put this back together to bring it back to us, and then we'll put it on the agenda for a final vote. But as far as Fairview is concerned, I mean, we're not arguing with anybody over property or the boundary or anything. And also just know that annexation, we cannot force annexation. It's a state law on anyone. If you want property annexed, the property owner has to ask for annexation. The city cannot annex anybody's property without them wanting to be annexed. So the urban growth boundary just kind of, just sets a boundary that we can expand into. So did that answer your question? So as soon as we get the go ahead, then we'll put it back on the agenda
Back
for
on
a
the
vote.
agenda. So basically, when the final vote comes in, then overall over the whole county, then they have the right to people to come in and annex into each city that they want to be annexed into, as long as it's in their urban growth boundary.
If it's in their the urban growth boundary, if someone in your urban growth boundary wants to annex, then of course it goes before the board.
Right.
And the board makes the decision whether to annex the property or not.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
But it does have to be in the urban growth boundary. Now, there is one situation where, say, because I know that there's something that I've been looking into, that I've been asked to look into, but we can have a situation where part of a property is in our urban growth boundary and part is outside. So then we would go, like the people would come to us and we'd go to county and have a interlocal agreement where we would decide if that property can come in and be annexed.
Okay, thank you for your explanation. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, it's on the agenda coming up June 6th. But we've already got, right, Tom, we've already chosen, or actually there was one bid, right?
There were two bids.
Two
We've
bids,
got
okay.
the one that staff recommends on the next board meeting for approval, and this is kind of in relation to the grant that Dr. Rice got. So we're trying to rush that through and have him all the invoices so he can satisfy his grant. But everything should be. They've all said we should have the parking lot complete well before June 30th.
And this is the back parking lot behind Triangle on the Westview side. And Dr. Rice got a grant for that to be accomplished. And so it is a short fuse. It's got to be done by the end of June. So Tom's been diligent about getting someone in place to be able to get that completed so that we can use that grant money, which that pays for it, and it won't come out of our taxpayers' money. Behind the Triangle School, we have visitors. The Triangle School across from the rec center. Okay, so there's a school and a post office and the clinic, and it's across from the rec center in that triangular field. And so we have people who use that building, come visit, and pretty much there's not adequate parking for that. So this grant will allow us to get that accomplished. Anyone else? Anything from the board? All right, that's a wrap. Let me tell you, the next town hall is August 29th. So mark your calendars, and we expect a big crowd. All right, so meeting adjourned.